We're on the 5th day of this project and I've still got a lot of work to do. I've got to put in the koi toilet on the bottom, run the pipe up through the wall there, which was a heck of a job putting that hole in the wall. I couldn't find an auger, or no one would rent one that would do what I wanted to do, so I did it all by hand. I've got the hole dug for the 2 drums, one for being filtering, a second one which will be half filter, half pump house. It's kind of a temporary thing. I don't know if eventually I'll go to an external pump. I got my skimmer almost in. I still have to trench over to it. And let's see how it all comes out. Well, it's time to plumb this koi toilet. Before I try to put it in the hole and put some concrete around it, we're going to first get it all set up here. So, first thing I'm going to do is clean off the actual area where we're going to attach this 4-inch fitting. Get it good and clean with this purple primer cleaner. And then they supply a fitting that has your female in for your white PVC pipe, and this I believe is an ABS material, so we'll be gluing it with a multi-purpose glue, not the hot glue that we use on the PVC pipe. Got that tip from the pond digger on his video. Well, I guess that does not want to come off. There it goes. Wow. Get a good layer of that on. All the way around. Don't need a leak on this pipe at all. Start losing water. And this has got a short flange and a longer flange, and the short flange goes on the koi toilet direction. Again, I want to thank that pond digger for all of his instructions, because most of the things I'm doing, or a lot of things I'm doing today, will be based on what he recommended doing. That's about as good as I'm going to get that on there, it looks like. That stuff's set up real fast. Probably could have went on about another ½ inch. But man, I'm not budging it. So I assume it's not going to budge from water either. Wow. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to plumb the air pipe that comes out of here for the diffuser system of the air. We'll be pumping down to it. So I think I'm going to just cut off a small piece of PVC to start out with. And we'll get that put in place. Try to keep glue from getting on the threads inside of the koi toilet. As you can see, there's threads down there for the air, for the standoff pipe, and we don't want to get that all covered with glue. So I'm going to put the glue on that with it sideways. get that one in a little quicker. There we go. Let that sit. Try to wipe out any of the glue that got in here. I think we're all right. Let that dry for a while, and then we'll cut that off and add the rest of the pieces. Alright, that took a vice grip to get this lid off, so that was kind of surprising. Alright, we'll clean up this fitting. Go ahead and clean both sides out. And we'll glue this one on. We're using the hot blue glue now. Cover it real well. And I'll put that one straight this direction. So I'm coming off perpendicular to this pipe, and then I'm going to come up and come this way. So here's the koi toilet, completely plumbed. My angle got off just a little bit there, but I think I can live with it. And now it's time to see how much more digging I've got to do to get the pipes to fit in here. Like I said yesterday, I did all of this by hand, all the way through there. So now I just got to get it all to match up. So that's next. I now have all the components of the koi toilet glued together. I'm going to go down and level it up, and I got to get this concrete in. It's supposed to get down to 32 tomorrow, so or tonight maybe. But I'm getting to the end of the road on this pond. I have to get it done. So let's get this in. Good luck. Well, it's day number 5, and it's time to get these fish into that pond here soon, so I got to do a lot of work. Still about 2 or 3 days from getting that liner in. Pond's getting a little murky because I don't have a big filtration system. Like I said before, I'm only running this mat in here and cleaning it every day. So I'll show you the status where we're at right now. Got most of the digging done. I've got the drain installed, but I want to show you this filter that I'm building. Not sure what media I'm going to put, if I'm going to put K1 in this or I'm going to use the Metallomats and some lava rock and some different things. But I watched the Pond Digger and his videos, who I've got a lot of my information from. I want to say his videos are really good. And when he was putting on the bulkheads and some of the stuff he did, he was talking about not having the right wrench. Most people don't have the right wrenches to do the work. It costs about $180 for a TeknoAxe or something like that. And I want to show you what I created. This is a wrench. This is a wrench I created. I just used a piece of plywood. I thought I had a big enough belt strap for tightening the nuts down, but I didn't, so I bought this one. And it worked great. It got them plenty tight. And cost, you know, a couple bucks, whatever, for the plywood, but it works great. I took a nut and traced it out and then cut it out with a little saw. But one thing I wanted to mention, when you're putting these bulkheads on, if you're using bulkheads, by the way, which I think is more durable underground, and I don't really want to have leaks, but I had the great idea, at least I thought it was, to put silicone under the washer and around the washers and all over the place. And I found out that the little washer that they put on these that goes behind here will start sliding if you put silicone. So I had to take all the silicone off, clean it up real good, and put the bulkhead on. Then I put silicone on after the fact. I did put silicone on the front side underneath the nut right, or underneath the nut right there. So I think this is going to work out pretty well, and I won't have any leaks. Haven't decided whether I'm going to put K1, like I said, or something else in this tank. I need to build a false bottom that'll leave the material below this line alone. It'll just be an open void under there, and then I'm going to put a false bottom, and then I'll determine the media for this, and I'll show it later. I've got a pit dug that the settling chamber is going to go in. It's going to go down here, and so is a second one that's going to house my pump. So it's not typical with most designs. People have the external pumps. Mine will be a sump pump. I think I got a 6,200 gallon per hour pump. This is where the Helix Skimmer is going to go, and then I have to run line through. I've got a hole punched through into my bigger hole over here. I've got the return line from the drain coming up, and I've also got an air line coming up here. I've built steps into the pond so I can, in the summertime, if I want to get in the pond with the fish, I can do that and walk right in, no problem, as I'm going down right now, as you can see. Here's the 4-inch drain finished, and I've plumbed in 4-inch pipe, and of course the air line coming up through the wall. I punched all that by hand, but I found out I probably could have got a post hole digger and ran it at this angle. They wouldn't rent me one when they knew that I was going sideways, running these things horizontal through the wall, because you'd be starving the machine of oil. If you're coming down at an angle, something like this, you can get away with it. So today, I'm going to come through. It's kind of hard to show this inside here, but I'm going to skim a little more off these walls to make it the same with the other wall. Take the dirt, pack it in around all these pipes and get it nice and tight and fill all this in. And I'm also going to do the rest of the plumbing. I'm also going to connect the drain to the settling drum that I'm creating over here, and I'll figure out what to put in there for media after the fact. So a lot of work to do. I better get at it. Well, I got the settling tank plumbed in. I wanted to show that. It's got a knife valve in it you'll be able to reach down through a 4-inch pipe to get to that, so dirt doesn't get around it. I got the air pipe coming out here. I'm just trying to get everything in right now to where we can put the liner in. I've got an assistant here that's leveling out the different levels of steps here. He doesn't like the camera too much, so I'll keep it off of him. And then the next step's going to be to fill in the hole where the pipes are coming up from the drain, and for the air for the drain. So So that'll be the next thing we're doing.
Hard as a rock now. Good deal. Nice. Flaky. Soft.
As you can see, we got that hole in the wall fixed. I tamped that in with a 2x4, and then at the end I was just using my hands and slamming it in there, punching it in place, letting the sun kind of bake it here. And the inside of the pond is about where we want it, I think. I might have to do a little bit of work on these edges to make them to where they lean back just a tiny bit. I don't want the rocks to roll forward, so I gotta do a little bit of that yet. And my 2-barrel system, which is something I'm trying a little bit different than I've seen on the web. This one's going to have maybe K1 in it and something else. I'm not sure yet. And this will be a second stage, which again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that pipe and go all the way to the bottom so that the water feeds all the way to the bottom coming out of here. Probably drill holes in the PVC there, put a cap on the end. But what I am doing definitely different than most people is I'm putting my sump pump in this barrel. It'll be down below the water line, of course. And the pipe right now, the top of the pipe, there's probably going to be at least 1 inch of water flowing above that. I use the 3-inch uniseals. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, uniseals. And I took the white pipe and I had to do a little bit of rounding on the edges, and I used a mixture of silicone and a little good old spit, and we got them to go in together there. So I still have to plumb in the old return to my waterfall, which will go up high on the barrel, and like I said, my pump will be in there. And then what I'm going to do next today is get the skimmer set in place. My wife kind of got frustrated with that one, so I'm going to take over on that. We've got the hole going over here to the barrel. Unfortunately, this town does not have any 2-inch flex hose, so I'm going to have to order some online. Probably take a couple days, but more than likely tomorrow afternoon I could probably start putting the liner and the underlayment first and then the liner, and I can probably even hook up the skimmer. I just can't get the whole system running yet. So the next 2-3 days we should be good to go. Alright, next time you see me I'll probably have this skimmer in. And that is of course the Helix, plumbed for 2-inch. Hopefully that 2-inch is enough with that 6,200 gallons per hour. If it's not, I'll be yanking the plumbing off it and changing it. Alrighty, let's go do it.